What's up, everyone? This is part 2 of my series of soil tests. So if you haven't watched part 1, I'll link it up here in the eye. But don't go anywhere, as let's discuss what's the second thing that I look at when I do a soil test before I throw anything down to correct in this video. Be right back. Part 1, as you remember, we discussed pH levels. Once that is in an optimal range, I suggest now you look at corrections that you need in your soil test. High analysis points. What is very high on your soil test that you need to either bring down or just do not add for the rest of the season, unless it's very necessary? I'll show you guys an example of my soil test again. And as you can see, my phosphorus levels and my calcium levels are super high. Now, there is no magic formula, no magic pill, nothing in reality that you could put in your lawn to lower phosphorus levels. That's in your soil, and that just has to slowly degrade over time. Now, with that being said, my native soil is actually high with phosphorus, and that's because of certain things. Based on a quick discussion with my local extension office that has to do with the native soil, the peninsula that we live in, and just in all out honesty, there's nothing that I could do with my high phosphorus volume that I have on my data points. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean I will not throw down any phosphorus for the remainder of the lifetime of the soil? No, but only when necessary. Use very low phosphorus levels when you look at a bag. The NPK value, the P is your phosphorus, the middle number. There's a time and place for everything, and right now my lawn does not need phosphorus. It has high phosphorus, and I'm not seeding, I'm not putting new sod down. There will be a time in the season that I would throw it down, and what I would suggest is possibly utilizing that during spring, summertime. I will not necessarily put that down in the fall or winter time. That's just my opinion. I'm sure there's other opinions out there in that matter, but for me, spring and summertime, if I decide to throw down any phosphorus whatsoever, that's the time that I'm going to decide to put it down. Now, when I talk about putting it down, I'm talking about use the lowest value possible in that number. In analyzing the bag, I'm going to go for a low phosphorus bag analysis. The phosphorus is always going to be the P number in the middle. You have nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. This middle number is what I'm concentrating on, as low as possible. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and discuss my calcium. My calcium is super high. It's out of this world high, to the moon high. And that's also just basically because of my native soil. Could I've had put some extra product in there that had calcium throughout my time of spraying or putting stuff down before I got into my soil test analysis and stuff like that? It's possible. I possibly contributed to the problem, but the majority of it has to do with my native land soil as well. That sand that we get from our shores have seashells, and after thousands of years of decomposing in that sand, unfortunately that also gets in our lawns. Based on the research and the discussion that I had with my local county extension office, that is the reason for my high calcium. Again, there's not really anything necessary that I could do on my end, but be very cautious of throwing products with calcium into my lawn. All right, so in all, what am I trying to get at here for you guys? Focus on your pH and focus on what is high in your soil analysis to not utilize throughout the season. If it's super high, we want to get those at an optimal level. What am I going to do? Well, I'm not necessarily going to bag every single mow because I'm just removing nutrients from my lawn that it could just recycle itself. I personally bag maybe once every other mow, so one mow yes, the other mow no. I mulch. I technically do not like to remove that much nutrients from the lawn itself, but if I have to, you know, just for the purpose of trying to bring down my phosphorus levels or any type of other levels, that will be my go-to method to make it as easy as possible on me without having to add 10,000 other nutrients or poisons in my lawn that it does not need. Try to bring it down naturally myself. That's it. pH levels, my go-to. Again, I'll link it up here in the eye for your pH levels. That's the first thing that I check whenever I do a soil test, and what is high in my data. In this case, I have my phosphorus high and my calcium high. Everything else is pretty low, but that's simple to take care of. The low values are even simpler to take care of than the higher values. So this year I am going to be putting stuff in my lawn, and over time we're going to do extra soil sample tests to see if those results are going up based on the products that I'm putting down in my lawn. That's the goal for this year. Store-bought products and online products. Before you decide to put anything in your lawn, do a soil test. When you do the soil test, look at your pH level and then look at what is high on your analysis. Do not add any more of those nutrients. Guys, you're just throwing money away. There is no way your lawn is going to continue to recycle and reuse those nutrients that are super high to benefit anymore. You could only get to a certain point. All right, think of it as if you take protein shakes. There's a certain amount of protein that you should take for your body to be optimal. For example, I'm 200 pounds, so my goal should be roughly my weight, maybe a little bit over. Because I add more protein to my body, it does not mean that I'm going to end up like Arnold in the future. Okay, my body is going to establish and it's going to utilize the protein that it needs to be optimal, and then the rest is going to put it out in the back end. So there's no reason to waste that money on extra protein. Then, you know, the same thing goes for your lawn. There's no reason to waste extra money if your lawn analysis come back optimal. But what is low, focus on that, bring it up so you can see a major difference in your lawn. All right, I think I chatted enough. I was trying to make this video short, but I hope this was informative for you guys. Leave a comment, a like, and if you're not, please go ahead and subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. That being said, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Back in that head. Yeah. Tell them to watch it. Now I ain't talking my pockets. Just know we ain't running out the way that we stock it. If I got it, you got it. If I call it, she slide and tell her to mop it. Yeah, I got that shit doing. Damn, she took that thing off and bring it around.